Hello, welcome back, Bool Boys Pod. We have Brian here.
Hello.
I'm very happy to have you, but I'm surprised Cosm hasn't pulled you in for Game 4.
Had to deal with all of the messiness before. And then kind of slid my way out because it's kind of like a double thing going on with like some art thing and then the game. And but I put in my hours, so I slid my way out.
I wasn't questioning that. No.
No. I'm just, not that you were. I'm just saying, like, I'm just expressing my
your point
fatigue.
of view. Yeah, fair enough. I saw on Fox as they were starting the game, they were showing Cosm a lot. It was pretty hype, man. Getting national TV play and stuff. So I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah, of course.
The original plan was there was a couple of huge soccer games over the weekend, El Clasico, Arsenal, and Liverpool. So I was meant to talk with Steves about that, but he's out of town. So I thought we'd pivot to NBA. We're 1 week in. Fantasies going well for you. Weight Watchers.
Of course, yes. I'd love to talk about the NBA and fantasy, dude.
Yes. I want your opinion, and I like quipped in group chat that it's a meeting of the greatest basketball minds Bool Boys has to offer, dude. There you go. So I have 5 things that I've noticed about NBA this opening season, and then you tell me if I'm right or wrong, if I'm completely off my rocker, and or why. Fair? Well, okay, I guess fair. First, should we go over like kind of the elephant in the room? It was a very spicy week in group chat last week. The fantasy.
Yeah, we could. I think I'm truly neutral. It's not because I'm trying to rock the boat, because I do both agree that maybe one mulligan a week was probably too much. I can both agree with that, but it's also like I think people were just popping off a little bit too hard, I'll say.
About one particular feeling that it had to be this way or one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad we sorted it out. I think where we netted out is totally good. 3 for the season. I'm cool with it.
Fine. My contention was this. I actually don't. The mulligan rule itself is fine. Like, it's actually, I might use it this week. It's not that bad of a deal. But it was just like
too early, dog.
Yeah,
it's too early.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not like Jesse or JT. They've that's used both, I think. But it's just like, don't you think that if we want to do like a rule change, and now that the money is getting a little bit bigger, it will get even bigger in the future, that at a certain point there needs to be like all this stuff needs to be done before the season, needs to be voted on, needs to be documented.
I do agree.
Like, no, that was my biggest beef. It was a vote of like, there was no vote, and then we did the vote, and then 2 guys didn't end up voting, and they're putting up $300 in the pool. Like, where's their vote doesn't count? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. Truly neutral. I could agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. Mulligan actually might be very useful for a late. Like, that's the thing. It's like you feel like you've been fucked over really hard, and now you have a mulligan to like. There's no excuses anymore, really.
Yeah, I think the weekly one was a bit much. Like, had it ended up that way, I don't think I really would have cared. But then now that it's capped, and now we're seeing that it's only the second week. People are already getting injured. Andrew's guy's ankle exploded. It's like
my guy, his ankle exploded.
Yeah, like if you keep it to 3, that I think that still keeps it very well within the strategic realm of, like, do you want to save all 3 for the playoffs, or like a critical matchup leading up to the playoffs or something, or do you want like to get some early momentum? I think there's still some a lot of things you could do with it. So
that's a good point. I think that was one of my other beefs, is that like every week makes it a super sweaty league where you have to be like checking your fantasy pretty often, at least in the first 3 days, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm a set and let be guy. Set them, check them once a week, twice a week. Hey, it's cool. Whatever.
It depends. It depends for me, but
yeah, I thought you'd be so busy you wouldn't want to do that. That's why I was counting on your vote. Brian.
Mine is like the complete same cycle every year. First 2 months, I just have it open somewhere. You know what I mean? Like at all times, like no joke. Like even when games aren't playing, we're just kind of like, how did that guy play yesterday? You know, like then people not on my team. How did that guy play yesterday? And just things like that for the first 2 months. And then I always cascade into a one eureka moment every season where I'm just like, dude, I'm just looking at this way too much. You know what I mean? Just way too much. And then I kind of drop off. But hey, we're in the second week, so I'm still in the sauce, dog. I'm still in the sauce.
Second week, first place. Of course, you're in the sauce, Brian. Your tip looks good. I can't say anything. Like I was very cognizant of like, okay, it's the first week. Don't look at the category score. Look at the totals. Your totals are very high, Brian. So all the power to you.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yeah.
Knock on wood. I was the 7th pick.
And you took
Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah, he'll be doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have a good season. So
yeah, the shot's back. So it's perfect segue. Let's talk about the 5 things. Just 5 kind of observations. I sent them over to you so you wouldn't be blindsided. But 5 things I've noticed. One of them is kind of applicable to all sports. But just tell me, like I said, if I'm well founded in my conclusion. So first, starting off spicy, is that I think the Nuggets and the Bucks are pretty cooked, man. They're pretty washed. They're pretty cooked. I've been watching the Nuggets a lot because I had Jokic last year, and I was like, how are they going to do? They cut the salary cap here. They took the cheap way out again after last year, taking the cheap way out again with Bruce Brown. So I look at them, and Jokic is putting up 40, and Jamal's hitting game winners, and they're beating Toronto by 2 points. It's not a good look.
I mean, they're down by 1 right now to the Nets, who are supposed to be the worst team in the league.
Oh my god, dude!
You know what I mean?
I'll ask you what's wrong with them, but then also for the Bucks is like Giannis is popping off, but they're just so washed. Like Middleton, your homie Brolo, not looking that great. But yeah, like and I don't know, Doc's not a good coach. I mean, I thought he'd be a good regular season coach, but it's just like I was looking at their salary cap. They're paying Dame, Giannis, Middleton, and Pat Connaughton next year like $145 million out of the 160. This is just stupid tax and cap decisions. But what are your read on Nuggets first?
I am still of the side that I'm not ready to write up the Nuggets quite yet. It's not looking great. I'll be honest, it's not looking great, but yeah, number one, I do agree that it is looking pretty bad because Jokic is having a hard carry. He's having actually pretty good games.
He's popping off. Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems as though kind of like the role player support, and even Jamal, I wouldn't even call Jamal a role player, but like that's just not as strong. What I really think it comes down to is that if you're looking at other teams have very optimize their top 2 players, and then like the role players kind of fit in between. The Nuggets role players, I think, in a way, have kind of started to get figured out in the offense of the Nuggets. For the past 2 years, it's like Jokic kind of purely can amazingly carry the offense and like get the guys in the spots. But I think after 2 years of this, a little, and especially they lost to the Wolves. Again, I don't want to say they've been figured out, and I still think they'll have a good season at the end of the day. I think that a little bit of the keys of how to kind of stop Jokic have been, stop Jokic and the Nuggets have been a little bit more revealed, as in you can either, let Jokic pop off and just like kind of stick to the other guys and make sure that they're not playing well. And yeah, I think like Murray and also Porter, like these guys, I think people are just starting to kind of catch on to their shenanigans of, when they get hot, it's amazing. But if you're kind of just maybe focusing more efforts on them and letting Jokic do all the work, the team is actually not as effective.
That duo of Jamal and Jokic did compete with like AD and LeBron or like any other twosome you want to put.
Killed us last year.
They killed us. They consistently kill us, but the signs for Jamal at the Olympics were worrying. It's kind of continued. And so I think when you have that generational player, like, why isn't my team paying the luxury cap? It's go time, right? I looked it up, and Bucks and Nuggets are paying the 3rd highest and the 6th highest luxury tax. for smaller market teams, which is kind of surprising. So they've paid the money. It's just that I think they chose wrong on a lot of things. MPJ was the wrong choice. I don't know. Bucks, maybe it was tough because they won. Like that's the thing. They both won, so they accomplished what they're supposed to do. But because of that, they had to pay the role players a lot more than they needed to. When maybe in retrospect, you have to give a couple flowers to Rob because we did the same thing. We won one, but we now have flexibility, some sort of flexibility where I feel like those two teams are like pretty entrenched in what they are doing. What do you think with the Bucks?
One more quick note with the Nuggets. Yeah. I just feel as though I'm looking at the top teams in the West right now. You know, the West notoriously is a dogfight, and looking at all the best teams, and we're talking about like the duos. You have the Thunder that's like Shea Chet. You could throw in Jalen Williams. You could even throw in Jalen Williams number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and Shea's obviously MVP caliber. You have Suns. You have KD, Booker. Like the top duos of all of these teams are extremely talented. And especially during the regular season, it's like you have to rely on a consistent performance from these guys.
Drive,
yeah, to kind of like keep it going. Jokic will always do his thing, but again, the offense isn't as good when he has to hard carry like this. I mean, he tends to only hard carry when the rest of the team isn't making shots, honestly. And while Jamal has proven time and time again that, you know, when playoff comes, he's one of the best playoff performers, but regular season is so much more about just like grinding out, you know, consistency and all that stuff. And, you know, due to injuries or due to wear and fatigue, you know, I just think that, and I mean, that's always been a criticism of his. Like, he's kind of just like whatever during the regular season, and you know, he's not getting any younger. Not that he's old, but
and more
it's hard to kind of stake your chips on him.
You brought up a really good point: is that in a vacuum, Denver's 2 are lesser than some of those other 2s, but then you compare like 3 to 8, and 3 to 8 is way worse. You would expect if 1 to 2 are like worse, that your 3 to 8 would be better, and that's not the case for the Nuggets. It's very worrying. Very, very worrying.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything on Giannis and the Bucks, Doc? I mean, it doesn't look good, man. I don't know.
I think I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah. Why? Because you hate Dame that much?
No. I think it's.
Or you hate Doc that much?
I think I hate Doc that much.
That's fine.
Lesser that I hate him, but I just think that he is his. How do I say? His reputation is far greater than the actual coach. Like, people forget he's the 3-1 thrower, dude. I bring this up every time. I think he should be thanking his stars and, you know, thanking all of the luck that he ever has that KG, Ray, and Paul Pierce got him a ring. I think that's literally it. But
you heard it here first.
Yeah. I think he's a solid coach, but not championship caliber, honestly.
Yeah, and so they're just old. They're old, and they have no like spark plugs off the bench. I mean, they're playing Taurean Prince and like Darrell Wright more than their other players, and just I don't know. Both teams have been mismanaged once they won the chip. I think that's my conclusion for both, and which is worrying because the Cronkies own Denver Nuggets, and they were always like pretty, like Denver's run well. Or I guess this is my follow-up question: is how much of it do you think is due to this guy leaving and going to Minnesota for Denver, making all these good decisions and drafting all these good players? Tim Connolly, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think probably a good amount, but some of it does just have to be on the players as well. Honestly, it's like I think a good amount, but
so, I was just. The Cronkies also on Arsenal, so it's not the greatest that they're like kind of shirking out of money once we won.
Sure,
we'll cross that bridge when we actually win. God
and for Dame, I think he's not totally washed. He's been having good games, but what I'm trying to articulate, I guess, is that I first of all never thought he played winning basketball. So even if he's not washed, I think it's just too difficult. So, and he's not as good. He has colder stretches. Again, he's still very good. I'm not talking shit. He's still very good, but he has longer cold stretches. And even when he is playing well, it's just like Dame taking a step back 30-foot three, and it's like this just isn't going to be conducive to long-term winning, unless you're truly, truly a notch above. But like at this point in his career, he can't say that he is, So
his defensive frailties were okay if he's putting up 31 or 32 a game. If he's putting up like 22 or 23, that's too much of a gap to miss. Like he's already given up 20 on the other side. He's given up 10 more. It's not a winning formula. Okay, move on, I suppose, unless anything else on Bucks. I don't know what to say, man. They're washed.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Brolo. Still put some numbers. Got 4 blocks yesterday. See, I don't even have them, and I still look at Brolo like, hey, man, you're doing your thing, dog. You're doing your thing, dog. You're doing your thing. Proud of you.
Okay, so last year, halfway through the season, there was a change in the way the game was refereed. Referees started pulling back because everyone was sick of so much offense. You remember this, right? And
of course.
What I saw was, I thought like people like Harden and Trey would be like devastated and like they would never be the same. Fast forward one more year, where basically in the first full year of this, they're doing really well to start. And basically all the other people who are like pretty athletic or like, I don't know, skilled, as James is very skilled. I don't know what the way to describe it.
Super skilled.
Like Halliburton, D-Mitch, Booker, Ja, like all these like smaller guards that use foul baiting. What's the word? Cunning and shisty guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah. So these guys are all down. I looked at their stats. Like Ja's at 20 or 21. Booker's at 22. D-Mitch is at 23. Halliburton's. We don't need to talk about how bad he's been playing.
Well, I wouldn't say those guys are like foul baiters necessarily, though. You know what I mean? Like Booker doesn't put up that many free throws. Neither does Halliburton. Even last year.
Halliburton did. I thought so. Last year to me, when I saw Halliburton's like drop off, I was like, oh, he's not getting the fouls he used to get at the beginning of last year. No?
Sure.
Dude, am I wrong? Tell me. You watched him more than me.
Yeah, but like honestly, I mean, we could get to that topic later. But I think I'm not off yet, but I'm waiting my ticket for Halliburton, Halliburton Express.
Yeah.
Who wants this?
Next stop off. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you got the trip paid for the rest of the way, but I think I might be off. So here. Well,
do you see?
Go ahead.
Finish. Do you see stat deflation at all compared to the beginning?
I do. I think very slightly. I think first of all, I don't think it was a very aggressive change, but I think what might have contributed to it is that we just watched Olympic basketball, pretty physical, not as foul baity, and it was like super fun to watch. Everybody was hyped during Olympic basketball.
Yeah,
I'm sure Mr. Silver made some sort of announcement to the council of like, hey, just like
council, less bullshitting
with like 3 steps. And let people play a little bit more physical, and it'll be fine. Per Trey and Harden, I think getting fouled is a skill, and I think that no matter how the rules change, those guys will always somewhat try to figure it out.
Interesting. That's kind of my take.
Is kind of my opinion on why like Trey and Harden are still playing well. I think their skill far exceeds like their reliance on getting fouled. Obviously, that helps a shit ton. But I'm saying, like, I think they are such great offensive players, even Harden in his old age, that like the rules can maybe say like allow more physical defense or something, just to say, just to give an example. And I think he'll navigate his way around it for sure.
It's just I wanted to highlight it because it was odd to me because I would out of the 3 players who foul baited the most to me last year, it would probably be like Trey, Harden, and Halliburton. That's what I saw. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw. And for Trey and Harden to do well, I just didn't know what was like going on. So I wanted to mark it down. You think, summarize, that they are so transcendent offensively and smart that no matter the rule set, they'll get the fouls. Those 2 guys.
And like assists, basically.
And assists. Okay.
Yeah. Like both of those guys, right? I think they'll always just get like at least a decent amount of points. Maybe not on high efficiency, but yeah, they'll get fouled.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but they'll get fouled. They'll generally have good offensive games. Things like that, and they'll figure it out.
Trey shooting like 8 free throws a game, which is higher than I thought it would be the way he's playing. He doesn't really go to the basket that much. Okay. I'm just curious. I'm curious to follow that trend to see if these smaller, diminutive, athletic guards who were smart with it and like knew how to just get cheap fouls, whether they will prosper this year. I'm going to mark it down.
It'll make it more watchable. I mean, some of the games you could tell that they're allowing a little bit more tougher defense, and they're just more fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like dudes are kind of fighting for the ball. Let him play. Let him play, ref. Let him fucking play, dude.
Okay. I guess that leads me to my next point that's a perfect segue, is that I think that overall, across all sports, refereeing has been the worst it has been in the last like 6 months. Do you like? I know right now. So the biggest one for me is soccer, but then I'll put. I think you saw examples like just 4 examples over the week this weekend that just made me like, you're a referee, you have eyeballs and they're right in front of you, and you missed it. Like I don't understand. One was the AR thing with Booker. They put it on RNBA. It got so many upvotes. Like he's literally grabbing his arm. The referee's looking at him right there, and he just doesn't want to call the whistle. And then they get the ball. They shoot a 3 on the other side. Like that's a plus 5 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Second to that, Sam Darnold face mask. There was a pretty egregious. You saw that. He's your boy.
Crazy egregious.
Yeah, he's your boy. You know. And then Arsenal's been getting shafted all year, but across the Premier League, there's been a lot of like, you can kick the ball now, but you can't kick the ball then. And it's like, is it the letter of the law or is it interpretation? If it's interpretation, then your referee can be wrong. If it's the letter of the law, then it's black and white, and you have to do it every time, but they don't. And the worst part is the inconsistency, but the second worst part is being told that, or being gaslighted into believing that we're wrong or something. That the Premier League does it the most, and I'll tell you why. Like they have a ref correspondent like Steve Javy used to do, and like they'll ask him about the call, and without fail, it's some propaganda bullshit every single time, and it just infuriates me. I want to like ring the screen. I was watching on another podcast. There was they were saying like it's getting pretty fishy to the point that like you have to look at referees and how much money is being made in gambling to see like that's a 5-point spread killer, dude. That AR play was a 5-point spread killer. Like
yeah, sure.
You know, like they hit a 3 on the other side. Like I want to believe referees are trying to do their best and they just fuck up, but it's becoming so like consistent and so gaslighty the other way that I feel like there's something fishy.
The corruption,
yeah.
I would say at a general level, I just think that like refs will swallow the whistle during key moments because they're just scared. Basically, I would say what I could attribute just to just ignorance and stupidity and a terrible call. I will, rather than like it's pretty like it's because of like a 5 intentional. Yeah. I think it's just the game's so fast. It's kind of hard to be thinking so quickly about that all the time. I would say though, I would not be surprised if it was because of that. Like I don't think it is, but if it's just like bombshell, fucking Tony Brothers is embroiled in a like a shocking referee scandal, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think it's happening.
The basis of sports gambling is that you believe that the matches are fair.
Yeah,
and
fair.
And the winner who won is like the right outcome, or not the. I guess it's tough to say. Is like was not altered in any. The outcome was not altered in any way, and that trust was always like 100% growing up. But in the last couple of years, that trust for me has eroded a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's just so much money. Like even though it was a stupid example. And it's not a ref, but like in the NBA, just like Jonte Porter, like it's in there. Like the pulse of gambling is seeping its way through the league. So even though that's a stupid example, like I would not be surprised at all if, bro, come on, some ref could be probably making so much ridiculous bank off
much
of
money, especially now that gambling's popped off. Yeah.
Oh man. Just make this one call and you're fucking up like $2 million on that game alone or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
It's harder for basketball, I assume, but like for binary things in soccer or like football, it's very easy. Or like, oh, will they have a penalty? Will they have this X amount of penalty yards? Or will this guy get a yellow? And there was a guy who got a yellow last weekend who was already convicted for match fixing last year. And it was like one of the stupidest things. Like it was Lucas Paqueta. Like he kicked the ball away for no reason. And he got a yellow at the end of the game when it didn't matter. Like why would you do that? I think he's still fixing.
I mean, hey, dude, LA's pride and joy we go all the way to the top. LA's pride and joy, Shohei. You had some pretty sketchy shit going on.
That's true.
And we kind of just brushed that under the rug. Like, nah, not Shohei, dude. Not fucking Shohei. It's like, what the fuck? There's so much money. There's so much money. Like hundreds of millions of dollars being exchanged, and
That's
not
very
Shohei.
well put,
it's
dude.
fine. Come on, dude.
He's got a nice smile. You can't
He's such a nice guy. Like, and I say this as obviously like a total bandwagoner of Shohei, but something sketch is definitely bleeding its way into sports. Sure, I could definitely agree with that.
Ref oversight or ref like accountability is something I'm looking for. That's all I'll say.
I mean, the accountability is that that they send the league report as we have reported that we made a mistake, and it's like, okay, and now what? What? Did you get fined or something? Like,
are you going to pay back the people who bet on that game? What the fuck does that do? Like,
like, what is that? It's just like, okay, cool. Like, there's literally no outcome after. It's like they either report that they are wrong or right, and then nothing else happens.
I would be
find the ref, dude.
Find the ref, or like have some sort of scoring system where people know who's a good and bad ref, so when they bet on it, they know, like, I'm liable to get fucked in this game versus I have a good chance to have an honest game. Like, I don't know.
The Tony Brothers parlay, dude.
Yeah, the Tony Brothers parlay, basically.
Switch the odds up.
Has a four-team parlay he needs to get there. Let's move to something happier, I suppose. Unless you have anything else on this gambling thing or referee.
No, I mean, again, generally, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. That's pretty much it.
Fair enough. Lake Show started 3-0, went 3-1. I think I was like pretty out, honestly, before the season. It's been a pleasant surprise. No, come on.
Oh yeah, I was super out, dude. I thought the whole JJ experience would be a total disaster, but he's sick, man. He's sick. I'm glad to be wrong, dude. I'm glad to be super wrong.
He communicates very clearly. He actually, like, his rotations make sense. You can see the one on Reddit, like, you can see his hands. He has hands. They're not in his pockets all the time. And I don't know, like, he's getting the best out of AD. What's your read on JJ's opening tenure?
Yeah, it's the lineups have like a point to them. It's what it feels like. Somebody's getting hot, or like, Rui is. Dude, he's got Rui getting offensive rebounds and like.
He's got like 25, dude.
Yeah, dude. I think he's just using the players well, putting them in better positions. And then I honestly feel like we can't discount that JJ's, when his career was known, obviously, for shooting, probably has them running a lot of shooting stuff because they're just making stuff now. That just seems like we had the same shots last year, but this time it just seems a lot more confident, and they're just going in rather than kind of bumbling. But we catch the ball and it's like bubbling, and then you get a contested three. It's like, oh, this guy's open, and like he can reliably get open shots, and they're making them. So I'm down, man.
A lot less LeBron grenades to like AR or D'Lo with like 1 or 2 seconds left on the shot clock. He doesn't want to mess up his field goals, so he passes it to them and they just chuck it up. And it's like, obviously you're going to miss that shot, so like less of that I like to see. What do you think our ceiling is? Like, I know it's tough to project, but from what you've seen, is it possible we escape the play-in? Is it possible?
I think that's what we should be aiming for. I think so.
Okay.
I would say my guess, best case scenario, I'm hoping for like a 50 to 52 win season.
Oh, damn. That's high, man.
And it's like, we're playing very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, we've got some good wins in the first few, and we look good.
3 playoffs.
Very early. Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm hoping this is the case.
Cool. Health will be a big thing for our 2 big guys, but then also, like, don't you just see our roster and see it kind of thin compared to last year? And that, like, it just seems like we're getting kind of a new coach bump, and I'm worried what will happen when guys kind of come back to earth and start making their shots. Like, I do think, Rob, if there's any, like, let's say 20 games in and there's an inkling we might actually have a chance not to be in the play-in, or like might get past the first round, he should make a trade. He should get rid of D'Lo.
Using who, though?
Get rid of D'Lo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
yeah, like,
that's too obvious. That's too obvious,
D'Lo and the
who
picks,
the fuck wants D'Lo? Who wants D'Lo? What can we get for D'Lo, bro?
Isn't he expiring this year?
Not sure.
I don't know. Attach a pick to him, and then someone gets $25 million.
Would you trade AR?
No, I would not trade AR.
You wouldn't trade AR.
Well, who are we getting back? We're getting like a DeJounte
I don't even
Murray.
know what we would. I don't know what we'd be able to get with D'Lo and Reeves, honestly.
And a couple firsts. Would you give the firsts?
What if we got like De'Aaron Fox?
Oh, that's never happening. Come on, man.
That level of player.
A fringe all-star.
He's pretty big. He's a pretty good star. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I would do that. I would say I love AR, but I'm not really particularly beholden to anybody else on the team besides AD and LeBron. And if we're basically in the last 2 years of this last year or two of this run, go for it. Just fucking go for it. I was never down to keep those picks anyways. Like, we've never been a team that's built to the draft, really.
If JJ can keep this level of production up with AD and AD can stay healthy, dude, he is hooping his ass off. Yeah. He looks
MVP,
good, dude.
MVP types.
Yeah, he looks really, really good. Like, whoa.
30, he's leading the league in PPG, dude.
PPG, like he's getting like 3 steals, 3 blocks, 2 steals, like super like fucking
12
nasty.
Boards, 13 boards.
Dude, and he's bodying people up. I feel like he hasn't looked this agile in a long time. He looks like pretty agile, man. He looks pretty quick.
You think he slimmed down or did he get stronger?
I think slimmed down. I think slimmed down.
The complaint was he was kind of slow last year because he wanted to play center, right? And then got big, and then he lost his jump shot and stuff. Jump shot's been nice too. So, last question on Lakers, unless you have anything.
No.
Okay, then how does LeBron figure into all this?
I think he just had a bad game yesterday. I honestly think he will have a similar effect to as he did last year. Still, let's say when it's a very close and tight game, he can be like a top 10 to, top 10-ish player, even like top 5 and like some one, he just had a 30-point fucking triple-double, which is fucking insane. I think he'd still do that in a game, but on a long-term basis, I think, he'll put up like 24, 25, 8 boards, 7 assists or something like that. But a lot of it during the regular season, I think, will be the lazy version and not necessarily like the popping off version of putting up these numbers.
You hit it on the nail on the head. That's my concern, is that when AD and LeBron are at 100%, we're a very good team. We were even last year. I think we finished on a 50-win pace last year when they're both playing really hard.
Yeah.
But LeBron can't do that. He hasn't been able to do it for like 3 or 4 years now, a full season plus a full playoff. So he will probably start coasting at some point. And at that point, is AD plus whatever we have, plus JJ's coaching, enough to help us escape the play-in? Like, similar to the Nuggets, but at a tier lower. Like, if you want to rest your key players, is the system and players in place enough to get you to where you want to go, standings-wise?
I think it depends on how long the stretches are.
I don't think so.
If it's like a 5 game, I could see like a really hype Reeves stretch. You know what I mean? Where he's just getting like 26 points a game on really good shooting. I could see him doing that for 5 games. But if it's like 20 games, then
that's the problem.
That's the problem. But for 5 games, I think we're deep enough to get some dudes kind of active, bro.
I'm just curious, like, who are we paying? Because we're also pretty high up on the cap list.
LeBron James, AD, dude.
But if every team has 2 players, how come, like, I guess all the good teams have like at least 2 players on that max deal, and so why are we any different? Like, I don't know. Like, what have we done differently? Is it the AR and D'Lo combination, paying them like $50 million a year?
Probably.
So get rid of D'Lo. I don't know. I'm more positive on D'Lo than other people in our group chat. Like, he's not going to be a superstar. He's not going to elevate us in the playoffs, but he's a good like role player during the regular season.
He's just so cold sometimes, and it's like mind-numbing to watch. Like when he's like hitting his shots and getting some nifty passes, you're like, oh dude, this guy's like pretty good. Or like an off-balance jumper, you're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. And then when none of it's going in and he can't do anything else, you're like, this guy fucking sucks.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
basically, yeah.
He doesn't know how to adapt to anything. You know, like when it's working, when it's working, when it's not, it's like, dude, this guy doesn't do anything.
Defensively, like a sieve, and then his playmaking also seems to take a step back when he doesn't shoot well. He can't do one or the other. It's just
for sure.
Okay, so last thing I have for you, Brian, is a wash alert.
This is my favorite. I was very, very happy for this.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I've marked 7 players that my question to you is, will these players ever perform better than they have in the past in a 7-game playoff series to make it nice and roll? It's not for a single game.
Oh, okay.
It's not for a playoff run.
Nice definition.
Yeah, nice definition. I hope so. Okay, so let's start with the bottom, I guess. Mikal Bridges. The shot looks funky. Brooklyn's a mess. And he averaged, 25 2 seasons ago? And it's been downhill since. Have we seen the best of Mikal Bridges?
Well, but did he average 25?
Yeah, on the Nets, 23 or 25.
I always thought it was I thought it was like a fake 20. You know, he was new. He was new to the team, and it was kind of sick. But I never really thought I put him in the top echelon of players. And I think that when he is playing at his best, he is only making 20 points a game and playing good defense.
It was 26, man. It was 26.
For a year?
Yeah, he averaged 26 and 22, 23.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Then it dropped to 19 and now it's at 18 and a half.
Oh my God. I would say, okay, maybe he's a better player because maybe he's more efficient or something. But if we're talking about pure numbers, then I don't think he'll ever reach that ever again. Nor should he. I think if he's wants to be a winning player, no team should have Mikal Bridges averaging 26 points a game and think they're going to be a winning team. You know what I mean? I don't think
Shooting
so.
16 times a game. Yeah, that's not that bad actually.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be worse, but I agree with you. I think once you start I know personally, once you lose confidence in the shot and you're going to the lab, it's never the same, dude.
Yeah,
You're it'll never be the same.
So let me be specific with my answer. It's that he won't ever reach his greatest heights ever again, but he can still be a better player, and so he's not washed in that sense. But if we're talking about purely statistically, he's washed. I'd say yes statistically, but the best
years of basketball
are yet to come.
Yeah, he can contribute as a third best player on a playoff run, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. So basically what his role is right now.
Fair enough. Okay. Halliburton.
I've been wanting to go into this, and I've been kind of slipping this in to conversations with people. So I had Halliburton last year. He played maybe 60 games.
35 games. 69, yeah.
He played that many?
Yeah.
Didn't seem like it. I'll tell you that much. It didn't fucking seem like that. Okay. But to start off the season, dude, he was getting 26, 14 assists.
Yes.
4 threes a game. Yeah, it
was a great pick, dude.
Yeah. But then he gets injured and he doesn't look anything like that for the rest of the year. And I think something that's not spoken a lot about him is that he's pretty injury prone. So while I'd be happy to be wrong, I'm starting to wonder if that we can amount it to say 40 games at best, that 40 game stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just lightning in a bottle, dude. And people hadn't figured out his play style. I think he's still good, but 26 and 14.
That was ridiculous.
I don't know, dude. It was pretty ridiculous. Shooting 55% or some shit like that.
Go ahead.
I think I could foresee 22 and 11, but if we're talking about what he was looking like he was going to be for 40 games, it's dude, this is going to be fucking ridiculous. I don't think he's going to be that crazy.
To your point, he was creeping up into top 5 for a lot of fantasy people last year because of that, right? He had just come off a 20 and 11 season, and he's the ESPN stat nerds or Hollinger's favorite. Apparently he's advanced analytics god. So after 2 years of putting up 20 and 10 or 20 and 11 last year, with fairly good numbers, 49%, 48%, he's down to 14 and 5 on 34% through 14
points?
14 points and 5 assists.
Okay, I don't think he's that bad.
through 4 games, dude. And he's shooting 34%. So it's a shellacking of talent has gone.
I think he will have a good stretch, so it evens out to about like 22 and let's say 10 or 11. 10.
You think that's him? You think he can get back to that still?
22
and 10 is like definitive all-star level.
Oh, I think he's still a good star. I'm just saying I don't think he is of what he was looking like. He was looking like Tyrese Halliburton is the next transcendent point guard. You know what I mean?
Nash, like
like high assists, high high everything. I still think he's a good player. I still think he's an all-star level player, but I don't think potentially. Again, I'm always happy to be wrong, but I don't think he's going to be like a transcendent point guard.
I agree with you. I think we're not going to see. Well, you said he will get back to 22 and 11, so actually I disagree.
Yeah, you're even more negative than I am.
I don't. I think like 18 and 7 or like 18 and 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think so, man. I don't think it's
Pasco
that bad.
on his team now too, so it's like an opportunities thing too, right?
I guess, man. I think
I mentioned it.
18
earlier,
and 7 would be a massive drop off, and people
he's at 14 and 5 right now.
It's the first few games.
4. It's not. If it was like 1 or 2, I'd agree with you. But 4 games, it's pretty bad.
He's getting warm, dude. He's getting warm. Long season. Yeah. It's long season, Ashwin. 82 games,
true.
dude.
Yeah,
82 games.
Yeah, I'm not as I mentioned earlier. I think that the foul thing kind of hurt him. He was really good in crafty, and I think that contributed as well. So next on the list, our boy Fancy's favorite, Jimmy Butler, in contract year, beefing with the Heat, beefing with Pat Riley. Just
I feel like he's been washed, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I think he just doesn't. He's a great player when he hits the playoffs, but he just doesn't give enough of a fuck in the regular season. And because of that, he's not healthy for the playoffs. He doesn't string any good runs anymore.
You think that it's like a dedication and or like commitment thing as opposed to him just not caring? I guess I feel like he would always care about being in shape and athletic because that's the type of person he is, but he would not apply the mental fortitude or like strength to do what it is necessary in a season.
I think he's not healthy enough, honestly.
So you think he's not coming to camp in shape?
No, I think he's coming. I think he's coming to camp in shape. I will say I think he's generally caring about being good still, but he is trying to preserve energy or like not really give a fuck about the regular season because in hopes of being healthy for the playoffs because he's so injured now.
So his best year was 23, 6 and 5 in Miami.
He's never a great fantasy player, I feel like.
Yeah, he wasn't. But then he's very capable of pushing that to like 38 and 7 during the playoffs, which is fire. Yeah. I'm going to zag on this. I think that he will start slow, but because of the contract year thing, he'll pop off.
Really, dude? He's 35, man.
He wants the money, dude. Like I would be very interested to see if I just drafted contract year players in fantasy, how I would do. Because they just be popping off all the time, man. It's like when you have to work for your money and it's right there in front of you, I feel like they go off.
True. That is true.
Jamal?
I mean, is this not a common trend with both Jimmy and Jamal? Like, probably not great in the regular season and then are pretty good in the playoffs. But
Jamal, before he was injured, I would have put them on the same level and how much they elevate their game, but the last playoff run for the Nuggets is pretty bad for me, man. For him too.
Sure, that is true. That is true. That is true. I would say my vote goes to yes, washed.
So he's not like his stats aren't that bad. They're like within shooting distance, 17, 6 and 5. But he's shooting.
Dude, I feel like
36% from the field.
I feel like you'd want Jamal to be, as the year's going on, not just like keeping to what he's usually gotten, but if he's going to be this guy, at least be getting like 21 points a game or something. You know what I mean? Or 22 points a game.
Yeah, he should be his best years. Yeah, these should be his best years, and he's regressing, which is right after they gave him the extension. It's just a terrible, terrible confluence of events. I think so too. I think I don't want to say because I love Jokic so much, but I think the Nuggets are done, man. I just think like The cap is inflexible, and no matter how, like, for the first time ever, I saw Jokic like go 100% and not win last year. Like the last 3 years, whenever Jokic turned it on, he would always win.
Like last game, dude.
Yeah, last game.
Not even last year, dude. Like 2 games in a row. Yeah. Probably like did these past few weeks.
Yeah.
This past week, probably two games in a row where he's like really hooping and they're just losing. It's like,
exactly. And
did they lose today?
I'm curious what happened there.
Oh, dude, it's an OT and they're up by 6 against the Nets, bro.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah. And Jokic has 29, 16, and 18, bro.
Oh my god,
come on, dude.
No,
like, literally can't do more. Literally can't do more, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what worries me. Yeah, I'm out on Jamal Murray and I'm out on the Nuggets. I will never be out on Jokic. I think I'm curious what his next step is if he stays with the Nuggets for the rest of his career. I don't know. It's very curious to me.
Nuggets get Luka. This is gonna happen somehow, dude.
I feel like that was always.
I feel like this is just in the airwaves that like Jokic and Luka will play together, and I think it will be realized at some point. I have a weird feeling.
But I hope it's not when Jokic is like 33, dude, and Luka's like 30. Like I hope it's in the next couple of years because that would be.
Yeah, Luka's like 27. Jokic is like just turning 30 or something.
31.
So like,
I'm down
kind of just on the.
Here's the 2-for-1 special. The Philly kids, Embiid and PG.
Well, I hope not PG because I have PG in fantasy, and I think he'll play. But I'm not expecting too much. I just want him to play and get, let's say, 20 points a game and like 3 threes, dude, and play good defense. Get like a steal and a half. I'm not really asking for much here, honestly. You know, it's like
what wasn't the assignment, dude? The assignment was will he play better than he did in the past?
No, I don't think he will.
Okay,
I don't think he will. I think it's Embiid. So I think that kind of contributes to it. I think it's like Embiid's obviously the main guy. Paul George and Tyrese. I think there will be kind of a weird. I mean, I also have Tyrese in fantasy, but I think there will be a weird kind of like figuring out of like how to distribute those shots. Honestly,
Tyrese has been popping off, right?
But he's taking like 32 shots a game and averaging 30. So it's like it's pretty bad efficiency. It was terrible efficiency. Embiid, you know what, dude? I'm gonna put good energy into the airwaves. I'm gonna say, I do think he does play as well as he does. He's still got it, man.
Yeah,
honestly, still got it.
I agree with you. Actually, I was gonna go yes for both, but you convinced me on PG. But I think Embiid, Embiid's peaks were very comparable to Jokic. Like when he was popping off during like those short week or 2 week or 1 month spells, like they were comparable to Jokic. The problem with Embiid is that for whatever reason he can't last 100 games, and so if he has made the conscious decision to like manage the regular season, I think in the playoffs you will get a much better Embiid, someone who can average 30 and 15. I could see it in like if he's well rested and healthy going into a playoff series, I could see it. So I think Embiid still has
35, dude. 35 and 15. Dude.
35 and 15.
Honestly,
we used to do the player profiles. Embiid would be a really interesting one because how much hype he got and how much it like dissipated after the knee injury and how he managed to bring it back and like kind of like what's the word? Set fire to Philly. Like they love him there. So it's like it's a great. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah,
it's the process. It's a great story. Hype era.
They love him. They won't.
It's just very difficult because we're many years in a row now of not seeing Embiid perform to his best potential in the playoffs, and at some point you just gotta, I think at some point like either he's gotta figure it out and like move or something, or Philly's gotta like make a choice of like, we're at like year 5 or 6 or 7 of this, and he's always injured.
Dude, yeah.
He's always injured in the playoffs. Like, do we move on from this? As awesome as he is, awesome as he is. That's my thought.
My hope is that, or I always feel like he's entering the playoffs with an injury, a previous injury. My hope is that one playoff he'll enter healthy. Like healthy and rested, and we'll get to see what he does. That's what I think.
I mean, he was pretty healthy when Kawhi hit the game winner. I feel like, and
that's true. that was just a joke. That was just a joke. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was like, you say that, but that's almost 5 years ago, Brian. Yeah. No, 2019. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Kawhi on the Raptors.
Yeah.
Where are the years going, dude?
And now Kawhi's not even playing, dude.
Yeah.
Super
like,
washed. He should be on the list, dude. Super washed.
Flipper and super washed.
All right, final two, really quickly. I've taken a lot of your time, so we'll finish it up. Chris
No
Middleton.
worries, man. I picked him up in fantasy.
You have all these players, dude.
I think pretty washed. But
pretty washed.
All I'm asking for, see, let me give the definition. Like, they're washed. Your definition of washed. Do I think they'll ever be as good as they were before? No, not at all. But all I'm asking for Chris Middleton is like hit 15 points a game and get like a steal.
Yeah, 2 3s.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like on decent efficiency. Like, you can do that, right? That's basically my hope.
The Bucks would take that, honestly. The way he's playing, like, I mean, getting a consistent 15 to 20 from Chris Middleton would solve a lot of their problems, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, he's fucking injured though all the time.
Yeah. He's one that shouldn't, I think, played through injury, and you're kind of seeing like the Luol Deng factor just ruined his 30s. Steph, my player, I picked him up. I'm regretting it now. I should have picked up James Harden. Like, I sat there for 59 seconds.
Don't say that. No. Don't let Andrew hear you say that, dude.
He knows. You knew what I was going to pick. Like, I was like, because I saw James go all the way up to like 8 on mocks, and I was like, Steph was always going all the way down to 17, and I just thought, name recognition at Steph, he'll be hype. I'll get to watch hype games for once, and it's just been really bad. He's hurt. But both the first games he played, he was like 18 and 7. I think that's what he was.
I don't think he's washed.
Yeah, but I would tend to agree. I think he's capable of putting one more vintage playoff series together.
I do too.
Like a 33 and like 6 or 7 and like 5 threes per game. I think he could do that easily. Yeah,
I think so, definitely. It seems like he still has a lot to give. Honestly, he's straight cruising on just being like an amazing shooter and a very smart basketball player. Just gets shots, can hit really tough shots, hits crazy threes. He can definitely still put it together.
I noticed what Steve is saying though. Like, when you look at his stats, they're not hype all the time. Like, he'll have that one hype game per week that will raise his averages, but most of the time it's just like 20 and 7, 20 and 6. Like, I can see it. We'll see how it goes throughout the season. I mean, he's out for the week, possibly more. But also the absence of Clay kind of makes it so he has to do more anyways. Any read on
to Harden?
Yeah.
Really quickly back to Harden. I think that now that we're kind of entering the twilight-ish of his career, I people will look back and I think remember that Harden was actually like a really amazingly great basketball player during the Houston years. And he's still putting it together at 35, still getting like 23 and 15 still, 23 and 10. I think I've always liked Harden a lot. Even through the foul baiting, I always thought he was super swag and like super skilled. So I've never hated Harden, even when people did.
Yeah. I think as you age, like, if you want to put your body through it, you either have to like need the money or you have to be a baller. Like, Katie and I think James are ballers. They just enjoy playing basketball, and like,
exactly.
They want to do it. And James, I thought after he got the contract, the fire under his belly would kind of disappear, and we kind of get previous versions of Harden we had.
Fat
Harden, basically. Yeah, Philly Harden. I don't want to play Harden, but he seems to be happy in LA, and he's like putting his full effort. I've been watching him very closely. He's like trying very hard to win games. So kudos to Andrew, you son of a bitch, for picking him. But
no, I don't think he'll be able to pull it off for the full season. They're asking way too much. They're asking way too much,
dude. I had him last year.
They're asking way too much, dude. Yeah, this level of usage, no PG and no Kawhi, and he's just like ISOing every single possession, dude.
That's what he likes. That's what he loves, dude. Just like playing ball at the
tired,
gym.
Man.
Yeah, you're right.
Man.
He is a
playing 40
reservoir of energy
ISOing the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically.
Dude, come on, man.
Calling over Zoo for like 5 pick
and rolls. For a pick and roll. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I'm hopeful, but we'll see. I mean, James could have been on this list, but
Are you in his corner? Is that what it sounds like?
I am in his corner. He helped me win last year because I picked him up in the 4th round, and he was basically a top 15 player, and that's where he got picked up this year. I should have trusted James. That's my problem. I should have trusted you.
I think first round pick for James is, I mean, in retrospect, honestly, we could say whatever we want, but like, at least in my head, it was always like, I don't want to be banking my first pick on like Harden, who has had years where he just gets fat and doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like too sketch. Like, well, I don't want to draft that guy as my first pick. So yeah, I guess I am saying kudos to Andrew for providing the bullet, dude. I guess I am, dude. I guess I am, dude. So
I gotta give props to Bronford, dude.
That's fucking hilarious.
Okay, so I just to conclude, we did our 5 things for basketball season so far. I think Brian agreed with me mostly, but he kind of pushed back on the foul baiter thing, and I'll take a closer look at it. But for washed, we got Mikhail washed, Halliburton semi-washed, Jimmy washed, Jamal washed, Embiid not washed, PG washed, Chris Middleton washed, and Steph not washed.
Just hearing it said sequentially just sounds so like aggressive, dude. Like, damn, dude, this guy washed. This guy fucking washed. Like,
we get to make a judgment call because we've been watching the NBA for 20 plus years, Brian.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we've earned the right.
We've earned the right.
I don't want to call another man washed, dude. I don't want to call another man washed, dude.
What about the most washed man in OC, dude? That's me.
That's tough, man.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brian. I know you're super busy with Cosm and World Series and fights and everything. But thank you so much for joining. Last week's episode, I don't know if it will make it because of the Riverside problems. This will be our last pod recorded on Riverside, and we'll move to some new thing on the next week or next 2 weeks whenever we record a pod. So I want to say some things about Riverside, but I'll say you guys treated us well for a good amount of time, but the end was really bad. We had some tough technical difficulties and poor customer support, so we're going to move over. So goodbye. Goodbye to Riverside.
Damn, putting Riverside off the last.
Dude, I can't remember if I told you in the previous pod that we didn't record, but like it was bad, man. It was really bad. Like the level of support and like the guy at the end, like he kept me on for an hour and a half and he kept saying, please wait. They don't have a phone call. So it's just the chat service. And at the end, after I was getting angry and I said, like, transfer me to Billy and subscriptions, I'm going to cancel my thing. He says, please give me 30 more minutes. He gives me on for 30 more minutes and then he X's me out. So I don't even see what the resolution is. Then when I come back to write a new ticket, they've X'd my account. I can't make a ticket anymore. It was whack, dude. It was fucking whack. Yeah.
Wait, that's insane.
Yeah, I was irate. And that was after I made 2 tickets prior. The first ticket, the guy didn't know what to do. The second ticket, the person called me Leia. Like, hey, Leia, I think I have the solution to your problem. Like, who the fuck is Leia? That's exactly what I said back to them. And then the third guy, the chat was 1.5 hours. And at the end, he like shystily, like cowardly left and then X'd me from making any more tickets. It's like, it was ridiculous. I was so upset. But I'm sorry to Ponzi, Delu, and Seeps, and you as well, because we won't be able to record that one. I'll try to, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to upload that one. So this will be the last one on the Riverside, and then we'll start again fresh. But thank you, Brian. Thank you for joining.
One last shout out? No, one last shout out.
Go ahead.
You know how I messaged you, or I had not messaged you? I had been talking to you about the arduous and soulless grind of trying to get Masters in Street Fighter 6 with the stick.
Did you?
I got it.
Oh damn.
After the nightmare is over, dude. The nightmare is over. Fucking.
So, what is that, like top 1%?
No, it's like 8, 7. You know, people say this is where the ladder. Man. This is where the ladder really starts. That's what people say. This is where the ladder actually starts. But I'm in the Masters world, but I'm taking a break.
Congratulations.
It's fucking terrible.
My question to you is: you said there was a new hype game coming out, fighting game, Street Fighter. Was it the same one? No, that was Marvel vs. Capcom, right?
Are you talking about Marvel or 2XKO?
There was a really dank. You had, when we came to your place in LA, you showed us.
I showed you the music.
Yeah. What is that?
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the re-release.
Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah. No, okay, I'm not playing that, but the content on it is amazing.
Okay. Well, I'm happy for you, Brian. That's anytime you can achieve a goal and you crush through it. Kudos, brother. Yeah, it's impressive as fuck. So, shout out to Brian, crushing noobs on Street Fighter.
Not even. I am the noob, dude. I slimily got
the noob slide is scale. You shifted the scale, dude. Yeah.
Just watch clips of people now. It's like, oh, this guy's not in Masters, dude. You're below me, dude.
Damn, dude. Fucking elitist.
You're below me, dude.
All right. We'll end there. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for your time. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.